Jamey Jasta from Hatebreed here for Metal Hammer, and these are my top 5 favorite hardcore bands. So in the number 5 slot, and this will probably change, it changes throughout the year depending on what I'm listening to, but I would have to say it's a tie between Gorilla Biscuits and Judge, just because they both have like near perfect albums. And you know, when I was growing up, that was totally normal. Like a band would have one album and they didn't really, like Gorilla Biscuits has one album, they don't really need any other albums. It is what it is. And it's great and it's timeless. Judge has Bringing It Down. I know they have other records, but Bringing It Down. And I'm going by albums. And discographies, but because a lot of hardcore bands, especially at the time when I was growing up listening to hardcore, they would break up or they would change style later on in their career. In the number 4 slot, I would put Sick of It All because of consistency. You know, if you look throughout their discography, it's very consistent. There really isn't any side steps that are too crazy. Sure, there's albums where I prefer, like I'm a big Just Look Around guy because that's when I was 15, 16 getting into that. And my best wishes to Lou and all the Sick of It All fans and friends and family. You know, we all got to come together with positive energy and strength for Lou so that he can overcome his cancer battle. So I'm thinking about you, Lou. And thank you to Sick of It All for their great discography and their great influence on all of us, because they're one of those bands that kick down doors for the next bands I'm going to talk about. Number 3 slot, I would say Agnostic Front, just because really, I mean, talk about consistency throughout their career, but also being able to do records in other subgenres. So they have records that are leaning more punk hardcore. They have records that even lean into like the oi world, but then they also have really metallic, thrashy records like the one that I produced, Another Voice, but then also the early stuff like Cause for Alarm and I Love One Voice. I think that's 91, 92 as well. One Voice is an incredible album. You know, number 2 slot, I would have Madball. You know, they could be tied at number 3 or number 2. Both of them really great discography, really consistent, even throughout lineup changes, still very consistent. Hold It Down is one of the hardest records ever. Set It Off is one of the hardest records ever. Look My Way is up there too. I keep going slow. You can't face me. In the number 1 slot, I would put Terror, just for the discography as a whole, and just because they're still doing it. And you can say, okay, this lineup was better than that lineup, or this record was better than that record. But as a whole, if you look at the discography, maybe some fans would say The Damned, The Shamed was maybe the weakest one out of the discography, and that's still really strong if you look back as a whole. So yeah, I would put Terror as my number 1, and is that 5? Yeah, I think, there you go.